Welcome to Small Business Talks, powered by Canadian SME, the premier and most relevant platform for SMEs in Canada. We highlight growing businesses and thought leaders with a strong focus on innovation, growth, and marketing to generate the results you believe you are capable of. Through our conferences, social presence, and our monthly publication, Canadian SME provides the perfect platform to position and promote your products and services because decision makers and influencers, they live here. Our hope is to sharpen your skill set with a stronger mindset, as our greatest joy is participating in the process of your progress. These episodes will inspire you to reach higher and perspire for the dreams you seek to fulfill. Small Business Talks challenges the norms so you can continue to perform in the face of any market storm that we might face. We'll cover topics such as emerging technologies like cybersecurity and cloud services, business resourcing like HR and financing, innovation, marketing and awareness programs, manufacturing, entrepreneurship, and so much more. My name is Shiraz Sadiq, your host for Small Business Talks. Lock in and let's go. Paul Gaspar is the Director for Small Business at UPS, and for more than 30 years, his passion, dedication, and Santa beard has served the SME community well. You'll hear about his beard in a moment. In today's session, we'll hear how to extract full value out of any relationship with a courier and why experience matters. We'll also chat through the new CBSA shipping regulations and a key piece of advice from Paul's 30 years of experience.
Paul, it's been a couple of months since we last chatted?
It has. It's been too long.
I mean, I take that as a compliment. If you think 2 months away from me is too long, then you know what? The last time I saw you, you did not have that beard. Now, what does that beard mean to you?
We joke a lot at UPS that we're an extension of this time of year, extension of Santa. In the holiday spirit. So, this is, I'm trying to look the part. So, it's time to hibernate, obviously, this time of year. So I'm just letting it grow a little bit, see how it feels. But it is a different look. People have not accustomed to seeing me with a beard.
Yeah, I don't think you're old enough yet. But having said that, old enough, how is it possible that in this day and age of being so everyone's transitioning all the time from this role to that role, from this company to that company, that you've managed to be at UPS for more than 3 decades? And before I even ask you a question, first of all, congratulations. That must feel good in and of itself.
It's a great honor to have done that and with such a great company.
Well, the easiest question is, what have you learned in your professional journey, right? That would be the easiest question. Well, what have you learned not to do again? Put that in context. We're about to hit a busy season. We're in a busy season right now. What will not happen this year? What are some of the things that you've learned from some of the mistakes?
Look, you're talking about personally or as an organization?
UPS.
So, look, we're constantly learning, constantly evolving, right? I mean, and we need to do that, right? We are a 100+ organization that started as a telegram messaging service. So Can you imagine if we didn't adopt? Don't think we'd be here talking right now about UPS if that was the case, right? So it's in our DNA to always look to improve. And that's what we've been doing. Now, obviously, the pandemic has made every business, every organization have to do that and do that fast. And we've done the same. I mean, logistics is such an important thing now for the economy globally. And we just had to continue to do what we do well, faster and better. And along the way where, there might have been some challenge or hiccups, try to adapt. For example, one of the things that we learned early on in the pandemic was, there were places, countries or parts of countries where lockdowns went into place. And those were hard lockdowns where we couldn't even get out and deliver. And how do we then, deal with packages and talk to customers? So one of the things, for example, we learned with that was to try to stay ahead of that curve, right? If we see, and obviously we got new variants are happening now, if we see that that's a potential, we want to be proactive with our customers.
Okay,
right?
so
they're important for us.
one of the things that UPS was really good with prior to the cliff that, not the economy, but the business world fell off, or the world fell off of it, in March 2020, you were always a trendsetter and a leader as an organization when it comes to e-commerce. Obviously, your ability to fulfill an online order lent to that. And you've been instrumental in helping thousands of businesses across the country get on board with an e-commerce platform of whatever sort or nature. What do you see coming next? Now, what's the next opportunity? And what are the challenges now that we should be aware of now that we're seeing more and more businesses come online through an e-commerce portal?
So to be specific from a Canadian market, it's good to sort of understand where we were and where we're heading.
Okay.
Look, pre-pandemic, we got to be honest. Canada, we were slow out of the gates when it came to e-commerce, and part of that was consumer adoption themselves, but part of it was also just businesses. I mean, we are a large country that is, when you consider the size, small population, really spread out. And that really didn't bode well for, the way logistics was really set up.
Okay.
Obviously, UPS and some of our competitors, I mean, we cover the country, but it became challenging, not just from the logistics, but from fulfillment, from supply chain. And that was a challenge, but we all know what happened in 2020, right? The pandemic changed everything, right? It forced businesses to have to now, move towards online, right, in order to survive. And it's now become the primary growth driver in a lot of markets globally, if not all, but definitely here in Canada as well too. It's the new norm, and consumers now more than ever, Canadian consumers are buying online, right? It's just critical for them to do that. So businesses had to adapt globally, and here in Canada had to invest, and they had to really ensure that their e-commerce with their supply chains were up to date and where it needed to be based on what consumers now were expecting. Because we've all become experts. Right?
I'm fairly tech savvy. I know a number of people are fairly tech savvy. And if we have small businesses out of our garage, basement, or small office, and we have this amazing little widget, and everybody loves this amazing little widget, Paul, what's stopping me from, well, I don't need UPS. I'll just hire somebody for, minimum wage and put labels and because now we're doing about 1,000 units a day. And what's stopping me, maybe not a day, but a week? What's stopping me from just doing it on my own? What challenges am I going to experience?
Well, the first thing is just navigating, the complexities of it, right? Because it seems like, hey, slap a label on it, give it to the person that's going to show up at the door, and in some cases, people think that's the person delivering that package in Vancouver or on the other side of the world, which is a scary thought in itself. But look, there are so many things that we educate our customers on what they need to know from a supply chain perspective, right? So if you're shipping within Canada, you still need to know what your customers' expectations are and how you can get packages across provinces to their doors safely. You need to know about packaging, right? We educate and talk about packaging, even though our customers provide that. People think that, hey, I've got packaging. It's the box that I put on the shelf at the retailer location. That's not courier packaging. People don't recognize that when you're moving through a courier environment, you go from one building to another that's got miles of belts and chutes, and your box is moving everywhere. So packaging is critical. Information flow of having that back to your customer is critical. Understanding what your options are in order to optimize your margins and reduce your costs, right?
Okay, so before we get into costing, one of the we've known each other for a couple of years now. One of the more amazing conversations that I had with you when you began to enlighten me and share with me we're more than simply moving a package from A to B. Shiraz, you don't know, we have a full suite of solutions that companies and small businesses can benefit from. Can you share some of those that are non-traditional in the average business owner's mind of what UPS would represent? But before you do that, park that, keep that. But before you do that, we need to do a shoot on site when it's safe, of course. You always refer to these miles and miles of belts. Would love to be in a facility with you. So Paul, I'm calling you out on that. Make sure we get into a facility. We'll do a live video shoot. But if you could please share, what else does UPS do?
So a lot of people don't recognize that we've got e-fulfillment solutions, right? So if that's one specific one that I can shout out, especially for small businesses, because the key message that I would like to drive just in general is that we want to make sure we're relevant to startups and small businesses. A lot of the audience that might be watching might be going, this is great that Paul's talking to me, but Paul, that's UPS. They deal with those big box chains, those big brands that we're all aware of, that we get packages at our doors all the time. That's true. But we support businesses of all sizes, whether you ship 10 packages a day, 1 package a year. And that includes some of these other solutions like fulfillment. We've got an e-fulfillment solution specifically for small businesses. There's no minimums.
So by fulfillment, you mean literally on my site, my little widget, when somebody hits click and they pay, it literally sends you an order in one of your facilities. We don't even have to do anything. You will immediately package it and ship it out. Is that what you mean by e-fulfillment?
Absolutely. We'll warehouse your facility, your products. Wow. Whether it's 1 SKU or 10 different products. We'll make sure that we keep inventory records for you as well too. And as your orders come in, out they go, including reverse logistics, right? So if you need us to manage returns coming back for whatever reason, warranty or because the customer changed their mind, and to get those back into inventory, all of that could be taken away from your hands as a small business owner. So that's less one hat you need to worry about. Because what we try to do is take all that guessing, all that pain away, and let the business owner get back to what they're good at, which is improving their products and selling their business.
Okay, so now you've just introduced something that is hitting home for me personally, all right? Maybe not at my home, but we have a family member who, because of the way the world has gone over the last 18 months, doesn't like to go out at all. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that she has packages delivered to her home daily. You said reverse logistics. Mm-hmm. Well, that is fascinating that you're being so polite. All this family member is doing is constantly returning more boxes than she is having boxes delivered. And that's an element that perhaps the average small business doesn't think about, is how to, in your polite terminology, reverse logistics, but simple returns. How does one go through that process? Can you explain reverse logistics a little bit more? Because that's a reality when people now, their dressing room and change rooms is actually their bedroom instead of the retail little booth that they were used to going into.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you're pulling that point out, because every opportunity I have, I talk about returns, because all of us as consumers, like your family member, we all rely and expect returns, right? We're online and we're looking, if it's a new site we've been to, what is the return policy? Can I return? What would I get back? What are my time constraints? We want as consumers to know that. Yet so many businesses shy away from understanding or developing their return policy. It's like that family member that you see once a year and you sort of don't know how to talk to or deal with, and you sort of put them off to the side, right? You need to embrace it, because if you do that as a business, you're going to differentiate yourselves from your competition. And the good thing to do is to really understand in your sector, in what you are selling, what is expected and how can you differentiate yourselves? Look, you might be in the food and beverage sector where, sorry, it's a perishable item. You bought it. You can't return it, right? You're not going to send that pie back to me, right? So that makes sense, but still make that clear on your website. People need to understand that. I've been on websites for us that I look for return policy, I can't find it. Only after I put an item in a shopping cart. I log in, I fill out my information, I fill out my
Right.
shipping information, I ship on my. When you get to that final screen, all of a sudden, what do I see? Return policy. That's too late. You got to have it up front, and you got to explain it. And if you're able to have a return process, which with solutions like with UPS, you can do that. You can provide a return label back to the customer. You can direct them to a place to drop it off. You can have it picked up at their door.
Wow.
There's so many things you can do, but by doing that, Shiraz, you're going to differentiate yourselves against your competition and give you a huge advantage. I challenge businesses, take it on. Make this what makes you different.
Okay, so what will also make me different is when I expand past my normal range in my mind of selling in the GTA, in the province, or across Canada. Now I want to also sell across the globe, and obviously UPS has that global reach. But I'm simply talking about just going south of the border. Obviously, you work really closely with CARM and CBSA. Can you, well, for our audience, explain to everyone what CBSA and CARM is and what they do and the role they play, and how you're affecting and impacting policy to help make it a more smoother business operational flow so I can sell into the States?
Yeah. So for everyone's benefit, in case they're not sure what CARM is, it's a new process that our Canadian Border Services Agency has developed and is in a multi-phase pushing out. And CARM stands for the CBA. The C stands for the Canadian Border Service Agency piece, obviously, but then it's the CBSA.
The assessment and revenue
management project. Yeah, sorry. Thank you. It's a mouthful. But basically, it's a multi-year initiative that our Canadian Border Agency has developed because they're trying to streamline the process of importing commercial goods, right? They're trying to make it easier from that process perspective, both to assess, collect, manage, and report all data, duties, and taxes obviously coming in. So what's critical for any of the audiences, if you're a business in Canada and you're importing, if you haven't already gone to the CARM portal and registered, please do so because it's already available. And come spring of 2022, and the date's still a little fluid, but soon in 2022, release 2 is going to come out. And basically, if you're not logged in and you're not set up with CARM, you're not going to be able to import into Canada, which is critical if you're a business, right? Doesn't apply to consumers, but it's commercial importers.
Wow. And I'm assuming that that's a process that if someone does get a hold of someone at your, on your team and at UPS, they'll be able to walk them through that. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in conversation with Paul Gaspar from UPS. We're talking about 30 years of experience. He's earned that salt in that pepper beard. The experience that he always brings to the table. It's more about the confidence as well. When you are able to deal with somebody who has that competence because of their experience, that's somebody that you really want to connect to. Now, Paul, what is next to A and B? What's next for Paul? What's next for UPS? What's coming up in 2022 that we should be aware of?
So, you know what? For us, it's really just to, and this is for me personally as well, it's for us to continue to support the SMB network. It is a focus for us as an organization globally. So we want to make sure that we are relevant. We're there to support, provide the years of advice that we have to support these businesses, because we don't have that that magic ball to really know what's going to happen, especially with these new variants of trades. But what we're seeing right now is that e-commerce is here and it's here to stay. We believe that it's going to be a much more steady flow into 2022 and not the spike we saw in 2020 and the first half of 2021. But again, those variants could change that. I mean, it could go, we could see spikes in that again. But that is what's critical. And that's what we're trying to focus on and support our customers along the way, is that, if you're already not on e-commerce, that's a problem. But if you are, continue to tweak that, continue to improve that, continue to make sure that you're relevant to your existing and potential customers, because it's the new norm. It's the new way of doing business, B2B and B2C. That's critical as well too.
I wouldn't say that this is the worst thing that you've experienced, or it is the worst, but over 30 years, you've probably seen your shares of global challenges. You've seen your share of problems, even, interprovincial or internationally, nationally, you've seen a number of challenges. What gives you the confidence to say, hey, we're going to get to the other side? Because there is this ambiguity that we're living in, kind of like, oh, what's next? Variants of concern. There's this, there's that. How do we lean into experience? And what does experience really mean when anyone is really launching and continue to progress in building their business?
So experience and leaning into that is again something I say all the time. Research, and ask for help. It's there. I mean, there are both private sector and public sector resources out there for you to learn whether or not you're trying to get your website up and running, building your own, or using a marketplace or some sort of digital partner that's out there. And we work with most of them that are available. It could be from your fulfillment perspective. It could be dealing with, if you're going global, with brokerage and customs. That information is there. So you got to research that up front, and then you got to ask for help so that you can pull that knowledge that these people have to ensure that you're launching your business or you're scaling your business the right way, right? We have discussions about that. I had one earlier today with a group of small businesses where, again, it's just making sure that you know your product, you know your service, but now you need to make sure you rely and lean on those that can help in other aspects. And when it comes to the world we live in today, and you're product based and you're looking to ship across the province, across the country, or somewhere else around the world, you got to really rely on those experts on customer regulations, tariffs, movement of goods, whether you're talking about courier, whether you're talking about freight. And really understand that. I mean, supply chain is really, really challenging today. I mean, if you're talking freight, I mean, look what's happening outside of ports on the east and west coast of North America, right? Very challenging things that are happening. But relying on those people that are in the space and are experts, you'll be kept informed, but you'll know how to navigate to ensure that you minimize or eliminate any pain points on your end.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, clearly you're hearing the assurity in Paul's voice of having been in the industry for 30 plus years. That doesn't make him old, that makes him wise. That's my opinion. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. He, of course, is the director of small business at UPS Canada. This is his passion. This is what he's dedicated his life to, helping you and your business get to the other side of your dream. Thank you once again, Paul, for joining us on Small Business Talks, brought to you by Canadian SME.
Always my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
That was Paul Gaspar, Director of Small Business at UPS, sharing how UPS continues to lead the market in literally moving your products and ultimately moving your business forward. My name is Shiraz Sadiq, and this has been Small Business Talks, paving a way for your prosperity.